order the meeting of the Chattanooga City Council for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Councilman Clark, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will lead us in a quick invocation, prayer, if that's okay.
Yes.
If you could bow your heads in prayer with me, please. Dear gracious God, thank you for the gift of this day and the privilege to serve our neighbors. Grant this council wisdom that is steady, courage that is kind, and hearts that turn towards justice and compassion. Help us to listen well, debate with respect, and choose what strengths every household, from our children to our seniors to our small business and first responders.
Amen.
Guide our decisions to bring safety to our streets, dignity to our work,
Yes.
and hope to every neighborhood. Bless those still recovering from recent common good. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Council, can I get a motion on the minutes? Thank you. Without objection, the minutes will stand. I have an exciting announcement to make. This last week, were blessed with the first, maybe ever, council baby. Councilman Harvey and his wife welcomed baby Charlotte Anna Harvey on August 29th at noon. So hopefully that means you'll be a good sleeper. She was 7 pounds, 1 ounce, and 20 inches long. She is named after both of her grandmothers. And I have it on good authority that the mommy and daddy are completely in love, but are utterly sleep deprived. So I'm not sure when Councilman Harvey will join us on the dais. I've asked him to think about his paternity leave. These are new waters for us to go through as a council, but certainly joyful ones. So join me in a quick round of applause for baby. And the photo I saw, she is cute.
She is a cute.
So welcome to the world, baby girl. Okay, council, let's go ahead and move through our agenda review, please. We have on final reading 2 items for finance. These are the second votes on the budget amendment. Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair Dotley, have we received an actual line item of the breakdown? Oh, have we actually received a line item breakdown of the roughly $40 million of revenue that tax increase generated? I know we got sort of a broad general on the screen top, but I was looking through my emails, and I could not find like a line item breakdown of that 40 million.
Yeah.
Have we received that and I've just overlooked it?
Discussed in prior meetings, but I'll let Chief of Staff come up and finish that answer.
Thank you, Councilman. So in addition to the slide that does enumerate how those dollars are going to be expended and the impact on the budget, in the actual text of the ordinances themselves, it shows the line item impact and the new totals across all cost centers, and specifically where the money will go.
Okay, that has been, I tried to find that and I just couldn't find it.
Okay.
It has been publicly available and linked to the agenda.
Okay,
And that's where it is currently.
okay, great.
All right, that's it, Councilman Henderson. Okay, well, thank you, Chief.
Kevin, would you please send for the council the slide that you showed us that was the new paving list and all of the capital projects? You showed us that in the original, I think, presentation about the budget.
Yes.
So that we can all see what those new roads are going to be.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Okay, council, do we have any other questions or conversation about the budget? Seeing no lights, I would just like to make a point. On Saturday, there was an article in the Times Free Press that really made me sad, and gave me a lot to think about with regard to our responsibilities as the fiscal oversight for the city. It was about the fact that Blue Cross Blue Shield has announced layoffs to let go 95 workers. In addition, Aztec, which manufactures asphalt equipment, announced in July that it would reduce its workforce by an undisclosed number of jobs during a time of low market demand. Walker Chemical in Bradley County, which employs people in Chattanooga, laid off 90 workers in July, citing a challenging market environment. And Miller Industries, the Ottawa-based towing and recovery equipment manufacturer, said in August it would lay off 150 workers across 3 facilities. And now we also know that Volkswagen is going to be furloughing employees, and TVA has said last month that it had 600 employees had taken a voluntary buyout as part of a broader cost-cutting program. And what stood out to me is that what Blue Cross had to say about what it was doing. It said that Blue Cross isn't unique in facing rising medical costs, which is what they cited as part of the challenge. And the company said it had been working to cut its operational spending. It had just reduced non-essential travel, been more hesitant to fill vacant positions, reviewed its third-party contracts, and reduced corporate sponsorships. They face significant enrollment challenges in 2026, due in part to the evolving legislative and regulatory environment. I think to a large degree, we could copy-paste the city of Chattanooga into those statements. And as I think about the second budget vote, I am not convinced that as a city we have fully reduced expenses. I know we were very concerned about losing positions, but we know that we have $6.9 million reserved for vacant positions. That's nobody's job. That's jobs that are not filled yet. And of those, I think as a council, we saw that we had about $3 million that if we filled our most high need positions, we would still have space. So as everyone considers this vote, and I honestly don't expect this to change anyone's vote, but I will say for me, it just gives me a heavier heart about this increase. So that said, looks like nobody else has anything to say, and that is cool with me. So we're going to move into planning. We have several items on first read. Planning Chairwoman Burrs is going to be here shortly, but she did text me and let me know that Councilman Harvey, now Father Harvey, has asked that his 2 zoning matters be deferred for 2 weeks, please. So actually, Council, it looks like I'm only seeing one on first read, so he may have another one that's coming up at the Planning Commission. But if someone could make a motion to defer that, Councilwoman Burrs would appreciate that. In addition, Councilwoman Burrs says that there's some language that needs to be cleaned up on the item G in the planning items, and so we will expect some feedback from her about that. I believe it's related to townhouse massing. Do we have any other questions or comments at this point about these items on first read for planning? Okay, seeing none. Under resolutions, Please hit your light if you have any comments about any resolutions. Councilman Elliott.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In regards to Resolution C, some of the authors of this resolution would like a few more weeks to revisit the language, so I would like to push off that resolution for 3 weeks.
3 weeks. And what is that date?
Oh, 3 weeks from Tuesday? From today,
So that's the
the 30th.
30th. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll expect a motion for that. Item D, I also expect a deferral on that for 1 week to the 14th of September. There's some language that needs to be fixed on that. And that I anticipate will come from Councilwoman Burr, so that's 9/16, we would expect a deferral. There's some residual language from the tornadoes that doesn't quite line up here. Okay. Got early learning, we have mayor's office items. Yes, sir.
Trying to push my hair. Before we move on to that item D, if this is appropriate.
Go ahead.
By pushing this off, for those residents, can somebody explain this resolution 1? Because I think I understand it, but I'd like clarification.
I
don't
think
know.
Phil might be our best one to describe it. He's been working closely with Councilwoman Burr.
So for this resolution D, is this allowing those impacted by the floods to forego the permitting process? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, and the issue.
Not the process.
Yeah, okay. This would actually waive the residential modification permit fees for those that are involved on the current version. There's some question about whether there would be something for non-residential properties as well, and I think that's the issue to talk about.
How do we capture those who have already applied for the fees? Is there any way to protect them? Or any of those who may be applying and have to pay fees between now and the time that we have to pass this resolution?
Well,
Is there any mechanisms to protect them or retroactively refund them their fee?
If they have submitted it, I believe there were provisions for, refunding those fees that they made in connection with this. It was just not going to be something that was going to allow them to get a benefit more than the residential modification permit fees that would be involved on one. If there are commercial properties involved, there's also a possibility of grant funding for some type of fees for non-residential properties, and that's the issue that y'all need to decide on.
Just to clarify, I want to stay on the residential modification fees if I can.
Sure.
For those who apply for those, either prior to today, going back at least to August 12th of the flood and to the time that we pass this resolution, will they be able to be refunded or some type of assistance given to them, especially considering the hardship they're facing?
Currently, as drawn, it would allow the fee waiver to go for the time period for anything that was damaged on site as of August 12, 2025, is what I understood it. It does not include permit fees for electrical, plumbing, gas, or mechanical. And that's the only other question that I might have for you. Do you want to include that? It's the residential modification permit fee only right now.
Okay.
But there is a reimbursement
Yes.
element to the language.
That's what I was looking for. That's exactly what I was,
That
okay.
if somebody's already applied for the permits covered,
They could be
that they could be
reimbursed.
reimbursed for that.
That's the clarification I was looking
Yes.
for. Okay, thanks, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir.
But I think the main questions at hand that Councilwoman Burrs and Attorney Noblet are working through are if it will be for commercial properties as well, and if so, does this green grant apply? This was language that was used from the tornadoes in 2020, and so obviously where things change.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and funding changes, so.
Yes.
So we'll expect a deferral for a week on that. Okay, any other questions on that, Councilman?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay. So early learning, mayor's office, city attorney, public works planning, anybody have anything else? All right, looks like we are good on this week's agenda. Let's take a look, please, at our purchases for today. Hit your light if you have any questions about purchases. Councilman Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have some questions involving technology services for clarity. I think you all have received emails from me regarding some of my concerns.
Is Gerald here?
I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you. I've got a question for clarity about the KCI Technologies project.
Yes, sir.
In the summary details, it mentions that the technology service requested an increase of $200,000 for future projects. In your response, you only mention two specific anticipated projects that total $20,000, and it doesn't quite add up to $200,000 in what you're requesting. And so I'm a little confused about the math, about what the future projects are.
Yeah. Well, there may be something in the language, Councilman. There are two projects on the board now, one for $119,900. That's an upgrade for the CityWorks software system. CityWorks provides capabilities, maintenance, capabilities for Moccasin Bend and for Public Works. That software program has not been updated for 3 years. So that's one project. And then there's a specific $35,000 project, and that's to do some modifications in a module of CityWorks called Storeroom. And that's where our Moccasin Bend colleagues keep track of their specific kinds of inventory. So they have some certain things they want CityWorks to modify in the software so they can barcode that inventory and keep better track of it. So those were two of the projects in the $200,000. And then I think that leaves about $45,000 unaccounted for in the $200,000. $24,000 of that is for our annual managed services fees, which total up at about $6,000 per quarter. That's an average looking at history over time. The remainder is about $15,000 of a couple of projects there, and I think I enumerated two.
Gotcha.
And that would account for the $200,000. So the language wasn't quite clear. I apologize for that.
No worries. The managed service cost for KCI, what does that entail, and why is that not encompassed in their current operating contract?
It is. This is part of the overall contract that we have with KCI. So they operate that software for us. They take support calls for it. They look at new capabilities. They do training for us. That's all in their managed services costs, again, totaling roughly $6,000 per quarter.
But we've asked for an increase for this $24,000 managed cost. Is that correct?
We've included that in the $200,000, yes, sir, that we've asked for.
Why would they ask for an increase in the managed services cost?
The costs are not increasing. We just put it in the $200,000. The blanket that's there now has about $3,000 left on it. So we wanted to cover for this fiscal year, the full fiscal 26 year, those costs.
Gotcha. So when you take out, when you consider the current blanket of $200,000, that leaves about $80,000 in the overall estimated, I guess, cost. Does any of that include like labor, or, I guess I'm having a really hard time following y'all's response to this, and I'm not happy about it.
Okay.
The public looks at this, and if I look at it on a spreadsheet and I don't know what the spend is, that's a problem.
Yes, sir.
And I cannot explain it in layman's terms and understanding why technology services are requesting $200,000 extra, because it says addition for software services. So what portion of that goes into their labor cost increase?
So in the two projects, the one for $119,900 and the one for $35,000 specifically, those are the two big ticket items. There is an uplift in their cost per engineer type over the prior cost. So since 2019, we're in a 4-year blanket, and it's time to renew that. So since 2019, those labor costs have remained the same, even though they have a clause. It's in general provisions, term 2, that allows them to increase costs annually. They have not. This is the first time since 2019 they've increased those specific engineering-type labor costs, and there's a specific breakout that I could provide for you, sir, and for the rest of the council if you'd like to see that. It amounts to basically a 10% increase in total, 2019 to current, and if you divide that over the 6 years, it's roughly a 1.8% increase per engineer type per year. So that's where the labor rate changes are in those two big
And this software
expenditures.
is mission critical to what you all do.
Yes, sir. If we were to shut down these projects, both Public Works and Moccasin Bend would have real problems in operating their ongoing daily delivery of services to the city.
Gotcha. My last question has to do with the structured cabling
Yes, sir.
services, which is how we lay fiber optics. Is that correct?
That's correct. So EPB delivers fiber optics to us up to what's called the optical network terminal. Then anything from there, typically we're responsible for throughout city buildings on the Moccasin Bend campus. So we have two providers that handle our network cabling, fiber optic network cabling. And we're asking for an increase for Intech. That's one of the two. Both of them were bid out some years ago, and they were selected, the two people. Intech's one of the two. And that cabling can happen in fire departments. We refreshed networks there. We recabled. It can happen in any community center, could happen in this building, anywhere in the city. And recently we had a cable break at Moccasin Bend, and we had Intech go out and repair that immediately. EPB told us that's not our cable, that belongs to you. So we had to dispatch them out there to take care of that.
And the 125 is a contingency amount? Like, is that what we guess based off how we've been maintaining and repairing?
There are some specific work on that one that we want to have that $125,000 for.
Okay. Gerald, thank you so much. Your verbal response was 10 times better than the written response. But I will like to remind you that we get these inquiries from the public because it's posted. And so when we're seeing these large increases, we have to be able to explain it in layman's terms. As the chair has mentioned, we are in an environment where we have to look a little closer to how we're spending money. And the city of Chattanooga is not a cash cow for vendors to come in and ask for labor increases when we're having those policy discussions on how we do it internally. And so I will be watching more closely and making sure that when we're asking our neighbors to pay more or whatever addition in taxes, that they understand how that's mission critical to what you're doing. Because I think technology services, as you know, I am in support of, but we've got to be able to make it make sense for people that are asking us questions about how money's coming in and going out of the city of Chattanooga. So I wanted to be fair and let you understand what the level of scrutiny was, because they're asking, and I didn't know. So thank you so much for that, and I plan to support these expenditures, keeping in mind that labor increases, we're all experiencing it, and when we're negotiating with our vendors, let them know that we're all having those issues, and to get to a middle to where we're negotiating where it makes more sense, where it's not as big as of a hike of 3.5 or what have you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We pay attention to that, absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh,
I think you might want to stay. Councilman Elliott?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Right, thank you. This may be a question broadly for the administration.
I have a question for you, though, so don't go.
Okay.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, go ahead.
It's a technology services.
Go ahead.
Please tell us about what an integrated ballistic identification system is.
Yes, we have a sole source for that.
Oh, we got Chief Chambers.
My
So
compatriot here might want to help me with
About
that.
weapons.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you guys, I believe, have, well, maybe not all of you yet, but we'd love to have all of you all tour our NIBIN. So we are a CJIC center. So that's Crime Gun Intelligence Center. So what that particular piece of equipment does is it identifies shell casings. Essentially, there's a fingerprint, if you will, for every shell casing fired by a particular gun. So this machine was purchased through the ATF and its partners, helps us identify that as well as upload that into a national database. It is part of our, I guess, more holistic technological solution that we have applied towards addressing violent crime.
All right, thank you very
Yes, ma'am.
much. Okay. All right, Councilman Elliott.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So this may be a question for Kevin, Mandy, or Weston. Kind of building on to somewhat to what Councilman Clark was saying, as a new council person, and I'm sure sometimes as a resident, you see these numbers and you don't really know where they're coming from. We get these budget books, and after you get your head wrapped around the budget book, you kind of get an understanding. To get to my point, is it possible for us to get an understanding or explanation for each time, whether it's a resolution or a purchase, understand exactly what fund it's coming from? I see we have a column for it. What cost center is coming from, exactly, and what was budgeted for that cost center and what is remaining. So we can kind of see the life cycle of some of this. I think it's a good government action, so we can kind of provide a little bit more transparency as to where the money's coming from, where the money's going. And I think it will also help council members get a better understanding of the flow of money as well. Because I see this amount, and I'm gonna use Public Works, for example, with Jay. I see you have 2 knuckle boom trucks up here, and I know the vast amount of your money goes to salaries. But where actually in your budget is this $521,000 coming from, right? Exactly what cost center? I don't know that. I just know you guys probably need more knuckle boom trucks, but I don't know where the number is and where does that live in the budget. If we could do that, not only in our purchases, but also in our resolutions, releasing money, I feel like that'll create a little bit more transparency for things. Is that possible?
Absolutely. Great recommendation. Thank you. We'll do it.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
Madam Chair, I've got a question,
Okay.
follow-up question for Kevin.
Okay, go ahead,
I'm
Councilman.
so sorry, we're also pushing through allergy season. Chief Roy, could I ask you another question, please? In addition to that, I think what would be helpful, and this is kind of maybe piggyback off what you're talking about as we look at what we spend, right? We get a lot of inquiries from the public about these items. And now, of course, they're presented to us on a spreadsheet. Is there a platform online that if someone wanted to know more details about fleet management division, just the one-time purchase, could we present it in a way where people understand like the why, like what is this, why, where they can go read it kind of like as a data open source place to where this spreadsheet can be converted into some type of document that does more layman's terms explanation with cost center. I just feel like the public needs to know a little bit more about when they're requesting us to approve an expenditure, what does that mean before we even ask the question? That is it explained to the public on a platform that's, simplified?
Sure. Conceptually, yes. I think we probably just need to workshop it a little bit. I know that we have Chattanooga.budget.gov where this information is rolled up to the level that it exists in the budget booklet. There is a point at which things can roll up. Like if we were to just, I'm not sure exactly the best way to do it. But the short answer is absolutely, we can figure out a way to enhance kind of visibility to this and make it clearer. And I think importantly, love the idea of contextualizing it, which is something that we want to do across the board with budgeting as it pertains to capital expenditures and other things, providing additional context for each expenditure.
I think it's just the environment we're in with this council. I mean, elections have consequences. One of the consequences of this election is that we have council that's a little bit more in tune about the in-depth wherewithal of cost centers. That's not a dig at none of y'all. I see Rakita going, what the hell? But what I'm saying is that
We're pretty aware.
it does not that apparatus does not currently exist for the public as it exists for us.
I think it's disparate right now, and you'd have to click around and know what you're looking for. We can make it easier for folks. We should do that.
Thank you, Kevin.
You bet.
Okay.
Are there lights from the left?
Councilman Elliott?
Yeah, Kevin, I think I have a solution for you. I don't know if this is still up, But we used to have Socrata at the city and Office of Open Data Performance Management, OPMOD, or whatever the acronym was. And I know they did a really great job of tracking and providing open source data for items like this. And I think the platform is still up, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and that's what I'm thinking about. I don't have it in my mind exactly what it looks like right now. It needs to be dusted off, and I think.
Do we still
reshare
have
it.
OPMOD? Do they still exist?
No, but the functionality still exists.
Okay.
So
Well, that's the option.
Kevin, maybe put a note on your calendar to check back in with us in a month and give us an update on where you're headed with that?
Sure.
Okay, that'd be great,
Thanks,
thank you. Okay, council, let's take a look, looks like we are clear. Are you good, Councilman Elliott?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, looks like we're good to head into our 2-week agenda. Please take a look. What we'll be doing next week. We will be having a public hearing. Oh, poor Kevin, just sat down. We will be having another budget public hearing because we need to make some additional changes to allocations due to some changes in state law. Kevin has a presentation to give us on the community development changes related to the Dismantling DEI Act signed by the governor. And so once he's finished making his notes, I invite you, Kevin, to come back up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This one should be quick. We have previously discussed that going back to May of this year, there were some actions taken by the legislature, subsequently signed into law by the governor regarding departments of equity. And so what we did, the reason that it matters to us is there were parts of our code of ordinances that were implicated by these changes in state statute. And so the mayor's office asked outside counsel to just take a thorough review at our entire code and to advise us on some necessary changes. And so this is a brief summary of the plan that the administration has put forward to make those changes. And I just want to make a quick note that on the agenda, starting next week, there are 3 legislative items to be considered to effectuate these changes. One is an ordinance that will go in and make specific edits that I'll talk about in various places in the code. The other one is a budget amendment. Now, I want to be super clear. It is budget neutral because all it does is move the cost centers implicated by what I'm about to summarize for you to align with what the previous ordinance and what the resolution accompanying it describes. So the resolution is basically a summary of what I'll talk about now. Our core objectives in undertaking this exercise was obviously, number one, we want to make sure that the city of Chattanooga is in compliance with state law. We also wanted to do it in a way that was organizationally aligned. We wanted these changes to complement the mission and not disrupt it. And then again, budget neutrality. So today, there is a Department of Equity and Community Engagement, which is comprised primarily of 3 core divisions of work: community engagement, programming and activities, neighborhood services, and the Office of New Americans. The changes that I'm going to talk about will touch these other 2 departments, and their respective boxes are not comprehensive. It's just this is for illustrative purposes primarily. So community development, executive branch. So what's going to happen is we're going to get rid of the Department of Equity and Community Engagement. We're going to get rid of the Office of New Americans, leaving community engagement, programming and activities, and neighborhood services kind of floating around. And so we're going to put community engagement, programming and activities into community development. Neighborhood services is going to go into OCS, or the Office of Constituent Services, which is housed in the executive branch. And then what we're also proposing to do is to move community health and gun violence prevention into community development. They already have a symbiotic relationship. This is basically formalizing what the Department of Community Development does every day. And then we are going to have an Office of New Chattanoogans in the executive branch. So the Office of New Chattanoogans is Mayor Kelly's name for what he sees as an economic development opportunity around the remote worker environment in Chattanooga. So we know that our city is a very attractive place for remote workers to come. A lot of people who work for companies in town work remotely, but we also have a significant number of people who work for companies remotely, and those companies are not in Chattanooga. And some other cities have done similar things around this. This is about workforce engagement. This is about enhancing civic engagement and trying to drive innovation through bringing these people together, getting them more involved with the life of the city, getting them more integrated into what it means to be a Chattanoogan. And hopefully, as conversations and kind of the cross-pollination happens, we can uncover some additional economic development opportunities around remote work and how can we continue to position ourselves as a city that appeals to people who have the opportunity to work remotely. So this next slide recaps the same thing that the previous slide showed. One thing that it mentions that I did not on the previous slide is that the equity board will become the community engagement board, and we effectively did a Control F scrub of the whole code and went through and updated the language to make sure that it was compliant across the board. And that's it.
Thank you, Kevin. I've got some questions on the board. Councilman Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kevin, I want to applaud your team for putting this together. I know this was probably not the easiest task given the nature of the topic of equity, inclusion, and diversity, but I'd like for you to speak a little bit about that. Although it's not entitled, that it is still the heart of this administration to make sure that those ingredients are ingrained in the work that we do, without calling it by name. And I do want to be on record and saying I don't support this, but I recognize why we have to do it, and I thank you for the opportunity to work very closely with you. Some of the recommendations came about through our workshopping. Tell us a little bit more about how we are in compliance, but more about the ingredients on how we will still maintain the One Chattanooga plan in the work without having to be out of compliance with the state mandate that I think is disgusting.
Sure. So the Kelly administration created this department, if I understand my history correctly, at the beginning of its term, because it is part of the One Chattanooga plan. It's part of Mayor Kelly's vision to ensure that access to city services and resources and programming is made available to everybody. And that 100% continues. And community engagement, the body of work that represents and what our neighborhood services folks do is tremendously important. Even the work that the Office of New Chattanoogans is going to endeavor to take upon itself is going to be done impartially. And it's going to be done to, one of the strengths that we all enjoy about our city is its diversity, and that we have people from all over the place. And that's a great opportunity for us to continue to double down on that, and we intend to do that.
Thank you for that assurance. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilman Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple questions. This Office of New Chattanoogans, are we hiring additional staff for this?
We are not. So what we are doing is we just moved some existing positions around a little bit. The entire change that you guys will vote on and that we proposed does result in a net reduction of one position. That's the Chief Equity Officer is eliminated. Everything else is people just move into different slots. And many people maintaining their current roles existing in different contexts, different departments.
Who's going to be doing this work?
So Miles Huff is going to be our director for New Chattanoogans.
Okay. Is that going to require additional costs at all outside of the work?
It is not. He's going to partner with Sharita Allen, who's the Senior Advisor for Economic and Workforce Development, and they're going to tag up, and there's going to be a lot of cross-pollination with our Director for Community Engagement, who is Kelly Valcarce, and those three will work together on this initiative.
Are you going to be
Miles as the
hiring
lead.
somebody to replace Miles' position?
The mayor's office is taking a good look at that. anytime you have turnover, I think before you backfill, it's an opportunity to take a look and see, do we still need it? If so, does it need to be the same as it was? And so we're in that process right now.
The reason I asked, and I just want to make it clear, I'm not trying to be honoring. I think we're coming out of this very tight budget conversation, and I want to make sure that we're actually using dollars for what we actually need them for. Final conversation, are we eliminating the work of the Office of New Americans?
Yes, and community engagement inherently, the Office of New Americans was geared towards the Latino population in Chattanooga. And we have a language specialist on staff with community engagement. And so that sector of our community is going to continue to have the access that they've enjoyed. But in terms of the core mission is of community engagement is different than the core mission was for the Office of New Americans.
I'm going to say this, and I think some people in my own community may disagree, but I can't tell you how to run your operation, so that's your choice. It is a little disappointing. I want us to highlight this. Our Latino population and immigrant community, particularly our Latino population, they represent 22% population of the city.
Sure.
If you look up at this dais, they have no representation. They jumped from 12% to 22% in 10 years. They have very little institutional support in this community as is, and I hate to see us walk away from the work that was supporting them in the time that's becoming even more difficult.
So
Let me finish this thought. I understand the need to align with state law to make sure that we're in compliance. I don't think that means the work has to die. And I will also say this, while our Latino population may be the largest other minority group outside of Black folks, there are many other immigrants and other folks who do not call America their native home, who now are residents, neighbors, and Chattanoogans, just like every one of us. And I hate to see us step away from this so blindly and say, good luck, because an interpreter is by far not nearly enough of what we should be doing to care for these communities. So that's all I'll say. You don't have to rebuttal on it, but that's my 2 cents. You guys have to run your administration as you see fit, but it is troubling that we're walking away from this work for our communities that are already severely underserved.
it's not a rebuttal, but can I just respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think I need to clean up what I said. The Latino focus that was exhaustive of what, or that was kind of primary with respect to the Office of New Americans is part of community engagement, right? So going back to what I said earlier about our commitment to extending access to all of our resources, activities, and programs impartially includes our Latino neighbors. And we have invested to ensure that we are doing things to break down the language barrier for folks who speak English as a second language. And we're going to continue to incorporate, it's a lens through which community engagement will happen.
I look forward to seeing that. And Cedric, you've been the department head, and this falling in your department, sir. I would like to see a serious, intentional effort to continue this work. Thanks, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Dotley.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. And mine is more of a statement, if nothing else. When I first got on council, this legislation was some of the first that I was able to participate in and pass. So I just wanted to say this is sad that our state legislators took the time to do this and force municipalities to make these changes when our state has many other pressing issues that they could be addressing. It's unfortunate that equitable, inclusive, and diverse policies feel like an attack to some, because that's what it is, when we claim to want everyone to attain the American dream. with this forced legislation that we have to do because they told us to do, because otherwise we wouldn't have made plans to do this at all. They are forcing us, the state legislators are forcing us to support an American nightmare where there is no diversity, no one is included, and no equity. So I commend the Kelly administration for your work and your plans to continue to work regardless of these obstacles that have been put in our way. When I saw this come up, it was so frustrating because I thought, why does equity, why does inclusion, why does diversity scare people so much? Why are you so afraid? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of people actually thriving? And to force our government, to force the city of Chattanooga, and it ain't just us, it's across the state, it's a state law, to force us to do that because people are afraid of people that don't look like them is sad and it's pathetic. And I hope, and I plan to continue to support the mayor's administration and the work that you continue to do to try to level the playing field, irregardless of reckless legislation like this. So thank you so much.
Council, do we have any other comments? Seeing none, I will add that the work of equity has been foundational to why I even chose to run, why I served on school board. And I agree completely with Councilwoman Dotley about how it was encouraging to be part of this council during Mayor Kelly's first term when we were being very thoughtful. And I am proud of the work that we've accomplished in the last 4 years, the way that we invest differently than previous administrations have, and are making changes. This reminds me a lot of the conversations we had around our community advisory board for our police. And that was a tool that was working really well, you'll remember. And because of state legislature decisions, we were given a choice to build something that was ridiculously expensive and unnecessary, or stop that program altogether, and we decided to be fiscally responsible and not proceed with it. I'm disappointed by this, and I also appreciate the way that Kevin, you and the team have been very intentional about the way that you have worked through the legal requirements of this law, and that you didn't just throw the hammer down and delete everything, because that's kind of the easy route, but you all have taken the thoughtful route here. And I know it's not an ideal solution, but I do believe that the values that underpin the work can and will continue. Certainly, that will be something I will be looking for as the representative for District 2. One of our shared values is that everyone belongs. And frankly, our other values, to be a smart city and a city with a strong foundation, mean that everybody needs to have an opportunity to be successful, because otherwise we're just dragging each other along, just trying to get across the finish line. So thanks for the presentation. I don't have any other questions on the board. Thank you.
Thank you all.
So council, next week, other items on first reading. Actually, it looks like everything on first reading next week is about this very topic. So we have come to the end of our discussion of our agenda. If I don't have any other comments, council members, welcome. We did go ahead and discuss the delays you need for the planning items in District 4, and some conversation about the other resolution. So I think we're good there. So with that said, I will hand it over to Councilman Clark for our Community Development Committee meeting.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to commence our community development meeting. Today, September the 9th. Is there a motion? And motions, the minutes are approved. We have a short agenda today. I'm going to ask our interim administrator, Cedric Henson, to come forward and give a presentation about construction, renovations, and development that's happening at our community centers. I know there's been a lot of interest and talk about what's happening at our community centers with camps and renovations and just even in the position itself. So Cedric, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
So today, good afternoon, council members. Today, I will be providing an overview of ongoing and planned improvement projects. What we're looking to do is provide some highlights of the critical infrastructure investments we're making, as well as being able to talk briefly about our deferred maintenance. So for FY '25, the Department of Community Development prioritized its projects really into three categories. First, with capital improvements, what we're looking to, these are our major renovations, new installations, and some focuses this year were gym restorations, a parking expansion, and some security enhancements. Our second priority was structural integrity. We did have some some foundations and settlement issues that we needed to address. So we wanted to make sure those were corrected. And then third, and year after year, the challenge with deferred maintenance. And these are just some overdue HVAC to electrical, fire safety, and roofing that we'll discuss. And so across our community center, this is just an overview of our community center capital projects. Across our community centers, we are managing 12 capital projects with an estimated cost of $3 million. Of this, $1 million is currently funded, leaving approximately $2 million that's unfunded. This is primarily tied to the renovation of the auditorium at Hickson. 2 projects are already complete. And 2 are about to begin construction. You can see by the pie chart there just kind of how we are in the phase. All of the others are at a design or procurement stage. And so at a glance, we'll run through the capital projects. Carver has restroom and kitchen upgrades that have been completed. A gym floor restoration will begin within the next 30 days. For Chris L. Ramsey, we are looking at some security gate installation. It is in procurement currently. For East Chattanooga, this is the foundation stabilization that we needed to get completed. It is done. For East Lake, it was really important for this, especially as we prepare for our transition here for a community resource hub, for some additional parking. We do have a new parking lot with solar lighting. It's currently at 60% design. For Francis B. Wyatt, we have some foundation improvements there. Got to get some rain leaders connected. That is looking to begin this month. Here is our big one. We have gym renovations that are near design. We have some, the door there, did you see the gym floor is kind of buckling there from water intrusion. But the big one is the auditorium renovation, and it remains unfunded currently. The next 3 are all pretty similar in Shepherd, Tyner, and Washington Hills. We're looking at entrance redesigns and as well as some motorized gates. They're all in the pipeline currently, and it's really just about improving that security and control access. So here's the estimated cost and current status for Shepherd. And then for Tyner, estimated cost of $30,000. This just has the front entrance redesign, and it is currently out for quotes. And then last, Washington Hills, also receiving a gate with the estimated cost and status. So the elephant in the room, our deferred maintenance. Beyond capital projects, we do, in my opinion, face some significant deferred maintenance needs totaling $4 million. The most critical areas, as you'll see here, we look at these in categories. You'll see the categories to the upper right there. And then the associated task that we're seeing in each of these, for a totaling of 132 tasks. The vast majority of those, about 30%, are tied to roofing and exterior issues, while our most high costing category is our fire and life safety. That is really tied to updating our current fire suppression systems, things of that nature inside of our facilities. Just drilling down a bit so that council can kind of see how your centers are being impacted. Here are the amount of tasks that need to be done at each of the individual centers, and then the dollars that are associated and tied to those tasks. In summary, I think what the work is really about finding that balance. As you can see in this visual, we are working to strike, a balance between building for the future through new projects, but at the same time protecting what we have by preserving our existing assets. Deferred maintenance, that tips the scale if it's not addressed, and putting all of our other investments at a risk. So our community centers, we understand they're a vital asset. And we are making progress with target capital improvements. I believe that, though, if we have to really take a smart look at our deferred maintenance, as it remains a challenge to really sustain those safe and functional community centers. We'll continue to make these smart investments in both new development as well as our long overdue projects. So subject to your questions, this concludes the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Henson. Are there any questions from council members? All right, y'all are lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm gonna hit select next. It looks like we have Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Clark. Thank you, Cedric, for this summary. It's great. Did you email this to the council clerk so we have it? Or will
Yes.
you if you haven't already? Okay. I apologize, I hadn't seen it yet. Thank you for all the work that you've done in a short period of time to get us up to date on what's going on in the centers. And I've heard great things from at least the centers in District 6 about the communication and the future focus that you have for those centers. So thank you for all that. One of the questions I have relative to the existing budget, what is built into the existing budget for the upkeep of things like tennis courts at Chris Ramsey Center and things like that? Are those regular maintenance things that are already built in the budget, or are they part of the deferred maintenance stuff?
Yeah, it gets really tricky when it comes to how the budget is laid out. So first and foremost, this is a real collaborative effort. The Department of Public Works actually owns the budget for both Parks and Outdoors, for the most part, in terms of maintenance and upkeep, Parks and Outdoors and community development. And then there's another layer of maybe misconception as what's outside of the facilities in terms of, the tennis courts and things of that nature. It may fall under Parks and Outdoors and not community development.
All right.
For us, though, we typically run a budget, annual operational budget of around $250,000 a year.
Okay. So tennis courts, I'm looking back at April, would that fall under you guys? Okay, I will connect with you offline just for that answer unless anybody else wants to know that answer today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Burrs. Up next, we have Councilman Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary, I appreciate seeing you again. I think you've been up here probably more than any other department head, so I'm sure we'll see you next 2 weeks for another presentation. No, but I do want to thank you. For my centers, I have Glenwood, has right now is our senior center. And I know we're going to work towards building a standalone senior center. Wink, wink, hint, hint to the mayor's office. And And I do want to get with you guys offline about some other things, particularly in my other center of Eastdale, but I do want to thank you for this. This is great detail, and I'm really glad you guys are pulling back the veil and taking account for everything. So your work's not overlooked. I do appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Elliott. Cedric, could you go back to the slide? Thank you. Councilwoman Dolly.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. First, Cedric, you are doing a great
Yes.
job. And this is what we were talking about, and you are doing fantastic. So I hope he stays. I'm sorry, Jake. Sorry, Jake. But I did. Hope you still love me, Jermaine. I love you. What I didn't see, it's a great presentation. Love what's going on at East Lake. I do have two more centers, South Chattanooga, and I know the West Side is going to undergo its own renovation with the One West Side plan. So I just wanted to know, were there any updates about South Chattanooga Center?
Yes, and so really our focus right now is going to be tackling, getting after the deferred maintenance that South Chattanooga has. But the projects that we were looking at are coming out of operational costs currently.
Okay.
And so those are, detailing the divider. We're putting in a new divider, getting the speed bumps out at South Chattanooga. So, but those are all coming out of the operational costs.
Okay, that works. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Dolly. And also, Mr. Hence's defense, I requested this information late in the middle of the week last week. I forgot we had community development, and yes, we will be having another community development meeting next week. But the request was to showcase where we are now
Okay.
with ongoing projects that were in the hopper, that were completed, and to show the deferred maintenance summary of that,
Okay.
which is why I wanted to go to the screen. Okay.
Okay, thank you so
Councilwoman
much.
Dolly. Next, we have Chairwoman Hill.
Thank you very much. Cedric, I really appreciate this itemized list and the photos, honestly. Seeing facilities that are crumbling, I mean, that Hickson gym is horrible. And seeing, walls that are cracking, I mean, it just speaks to, do we have the right facilities? Do we have facilities that need to come offline? Are they too big? Are they too small? I'm hopeful that in the next 3 years, we'll be really looking at this holistically. You mentioned the expansion of the East Lake parking lot because it needs to have more parking if it's to become a community resource hub. I'm looking forward to hearing more about how we deploy resources in a sustainable way. I don't know that it's reasonable to expect that every community center can be a resource hub. I'm sure we need resources at each one, but when we talk about a hub where everything goes, I think one per district makes a lot of sense. So I like where you're headed with this. I look forward to more with specificity. And I do have a question about the list as it is. I noticed there, like going through, looking at different things in District 2, but I noticed there's quite a few with $0. Is that just because they're not even on the list yet to be quoted?
In terms of, and I probably.
In the laundry list,
Okay.
HVAC mechanical, item 11, replace aging HVAC equipment is $0, if only it were. So I assume, and that's not a criticism, I'm just asking, I assume those things are coming eventually,
Yes.
just not.
That's correct, Councilwoman.
So when I see $4 million in deferred maintenance, I think, whoa, we're pretty lucky to only have $4 million in deferred maintenance. But then I also think deferred maintenance versus what facilities we have, and are they the right facilities that we need? So thank you very much. Look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to echo, and I agree with Councilwoman Hill, in that we need to take a broader look at what sustainability is. If we have centers that are online that are not serving our purpose, I think we need to reevaluate them and ask, is it worth it to invest the deferred maintenance? And, no offense, I don't believe in letting grass grow under our feet. I don't think it takes 3 years to make that determination. But she's right. We need to look at if bringing them offline is more sustainable for utilization. We need to determine that, not, as soon as we can. So, okay.
Thank you, Council.
Next, we have Madam Vice Chair.
Thank
great
you.
district A.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Henson, you suited up today. Ooh, you ready for GQ cover magazine? Thank you so much for all you do. I really, really appreciate it. And you know, I'm praying hard that you're going to stay on board with this community development. It has been a breath of fresh air, a ray of sunshine. And you have come in and did some amazing things in such a short time. And you know, usually you get phone calls when things are not going right, but I've been getting a lot of phone calls about you, so things are going really good. So that's, I want to give you kudos to you for that. And let me tell you, Carver is showing out.
Could you go back to Carver on the screen?
Yes. Oh, yes. You know what? Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is long overdue for Carver. It has needed the renovation for years. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And then East as well. So thank you for doing some things that need to be done there. What I'd like to say, if Mr. Chair will allow me
Yes, ma'am.
just a couple of minutes to give a shout out to Chief Mandy Green. Is she here? Hey, thank you. And Mr. James Cutcliffe from IT, is he here? Yes, over here. Where, oh, yes. So let me tell y'all about this. I reached out and made a request for cordless phones for the center. I was in a center, visiting one of my centers, and the individual had to run back and forth to the desk to answer the phone, and I was a little confused. Because I was trying to figure out, why are you having to run back and forth, leave me standing here, and you run up there to answer the phone and deal with the call? And so I said, where are your cordless phones? And they said to me, we don't have cordless phones. I'm like, what? Oh no, we're going to have to fix that. So I picked up the phone, made a call, and these two individuals jumped right to it. Mr. James Cutcliffe was over here at the office with me like ASAP. And he went into motion and put things into motion. And let me tell you, it came full circle. So I had said to the individual, I said, why out of all these years have you all not had cordless phone? I don't understand it, why you have to run back and forth. You're missing being able to provide services for a lot of people that need it. Calls are being missed. And they said that they was told we could not have it by the director, I believe. And I said, well, okay, so we're going to see. We'll just see how we can work this. Look at God. So God is so good. He will provide. He said, you ask not because you have not. You have not because you ask not. So you ask and you shall receive, and we receive. So thank you so much for that. But something as simple as a cordless phone can provide so much more service that is needed and help with safety and things of this nature. So I am so thankful and so grateful for you. And to all the center managers, if they're not here, if they're listening out there, I know you love me a little bit more. A little bit more. And I want to say, you're welcome for those cordless phones. You're welcome. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Vice Chairwoman Noel,
Yes.
for that song.
Oh, yes, I can sing that
In my
a little
heart.
bit.
As we wrap up our community development committee meeting, Cedric, I want to thank you for coming up here every month. That was intentional. When we went through the process and the transition process, we made it very clear to you and the administration that there are some concerns and there are some level of criticism that I think are valid that need to be addressed. And that's not from any perspective or philosophy, it's a fact. And you have demonstrated every time we've had a community development committee meeting, you have showcased your leadership in responding to requests on a Thursday or Friday and having it ready by Tuesday. That is grit, that is leadership. And I thank you for leading the ship, even with the new developments that the administration has set forward. It is my desire to support you past the interim capacity. And I look forward to the administration, Mandy, and putting your appointment forward for approval as soon as possible.
Next week.
So that we can begin to continue the work of community development. And if there are no further questions, Madam Chair, how long would you like for us to recess?
We need to have an attorney-client meeting, so we will recess until 5:30.
Okay, and is there a motion for adjournment? We will recess until
don't need
5?
to-
No,
We
we're
don't-
not.
we're
We
good.
just
Okay.
recess.
We'll see you back at 5.
All right, I'd like to call us back into order. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a quorum, that's great. Before we get going with the business of the night, perhaps we have some of the most important business of the night, which is that baby Charlotte says hello. She is watching the meeting with her father. I will hope that your mother, Charlotte, is getting some sleep right now. Okay. All right, so Madam Clerk, let's begin please with item 7A.
An ordinance to amend ordinance number 14239, also known as the fiscal year 2025-2026 operations budget for the city of Chattanooga, fixing the rate of taxation on all taxable properties in the city, amend estimated general fund revenue, amend sections 5 and 5A so as to appropriate the same from general fund, amend section 7A to revise provision for sworn employees, amend section 7E to adjust authorized positions, and to amend fire and police pay plans.
Thank you. Council, hit your line. Madam Chair, Budget Chair Donnelly.
With that, on our second vote, I move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
I just wanted to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, for all of you that are here today, I know everybody couldn't be here every week. I just want to thank everybody who contributed to the conversation on both sides. And I encourage you, don't let this be the last time. I mean, please engage in your districts, in conversations, just ongoing. It shouldn't just be when we have things that are contentious. I think that the valuable thing that I got out of it was meeting more people in my district and hearing from more people in my district. And I hope, at least for those in District 6 that are out there watching, that you'll continue to stay engaged and show up to things, because these conversations will continue. They don't stop with these sorts of things. Now we get to work, and now we start working on how we make sure that our districts get the services that we need. And I think I can speak for all of my council members that we're not going to do it alone. We still want to hear from you all what's important. So thank you all for being here, and please continue to stay engaged.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? All right, Madam Chair, roll call, please. Not Madam Chair, Madam Clerk. She's the boss of me.
Councilman Elliott?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dottley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yes.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Harvey? He's not here. Yes. Councilman Davis?
No.
Councilman Henderson? Vice Chair Knoll?
Yes.
Chairwoman Hill?
No. Item B. Item passes with 5. Item B.
An ordinance to amend the capital budget ordinance number 14240, known as the fiscal year 2025-2026 capital budget, appropriating, authorizing, and allocating funds to the capital improvements budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026 to increase the capital budget by $13,350,000 from general fund operations.
Move to approve.
Council, do we have any other comments or questions? Madam Clerk, please do a roll call.
Councilman Henderson? Councilman Davis? Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dottley? Yes. Councilman Elliott?
Yes.
Vice Chair Knoll?
Yes.
Chairwoman Hill?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you, Council. Moving to, thank you, Madam Budget Chair Dottley, for shepherding us through this. We appreciate you. And we appreciate all the hard work from city staff. Ordinances under first reading, planning item A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located at 7417 and 7423 Mintom Drive from RN 16 residential neighborhood zone to RN 13 residential neighborhood zone subject to certain conditions.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Do we have any opposition present? Councilwoman Burrs.
I'd like to make a motion to defer for 2 weeks, please.
Second.
All right, council, we have a motion on the floor to defer for 2 weeks with a proper second. Do we have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And 2 weeks is, thank you very much. Is it? No,
No. 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
25th. Yeah, 25th.
23rd, 9/23. Okay. Item B.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone part of a property located at 6401 Mountain View Road from CC Commercial Corridor Zone to INST Institutional Zone, subject to certain conditions.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Thank you. Is there any opposition present? Councilwoman Burrs, would you like a presentation?
No, I move to approve unless, sir, you guys want to make any remarks? Okay, I'm making a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Hit your light if you've got any questions or comments. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Item C, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located in these 2600 blocks of Long and William Street and the 100 block of West 27th Street from RN3 Residential Neighborhood Zone and TRN3 Traditional Residential Neighborhood Zone to the Chestnut Street Form-Based Code context, the CCX9 Commercial Mixed Use Zone, subject to certain conditions.
Is the applicant present? Do we have any opposition present? Councilwoman Dotley?
Okay. With that, another great development for District 7, move to approve.
Second?
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Hit your light if you've got any questions or comments. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item D, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2518 Bailey Avenue from RN2 Residential Neighborhood Zone to CNT Neighborhood Transition Commercial Zone.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Do we have any opposition present? Councilman Elliott, I have no applicant or opposition. This is in your district. Would you like to move to approve? Okay. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item E, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2306 East 14th Street from RN2 Residential Neighborhood Zone to TRN2 Traditional Residential Neighborhood Zone.
Do we have an applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilman Elliott, this is in your district? Move to approve. Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item F.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2312 East 14th Street from RN2 Residential Neighborhood Zone to TRN Traditional Residential Neighborhood Zone.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Do we have any opposition present? Councilman Elliott, this is in your district?
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item G, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38, the Chattanooga zoning ordinance as adopted by ordinance number 14137 on July 23, 2024, to amend the form-based code parking lot landscape requirements, add a new use definition for crematoriums, and add parking requirements for crematoriums, amend non-conformities for non-residential uses, and amend townhouse massing.
Councilwoman Burrs.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
And then I'd like to make a motion to amend, please.
Okay. What is your amendment?
Actually, a motion to submit an alternate version. It was originally to amend.
Okay.
And Mr. Noblett, I believe, has the alternate version. It just makes a slight change to the townhouse massing section of this amendment. Do you want to
Yes.
give that handy?
Let's get a second. Can we get a second on that? All right, we have a motion on the floor with a proper second to submit an alternate version with a townhouse massing change. Will you please explain that to us, Mr. Attorney?
Yes, ma'am. It would be a slight amendment to Article 9 Uses, Section 38-42, Principal Uses and Standards for Dwelling Units, 3-unit, 4-unit, multi-unit townhomes provisions, and subsection 3 little i's now will say townhouses outside the urban overlay zone are limited to a maximum of 8 attached units. A cluster or grouping of townhouse units may not have more than 8 individual townhome dwelling units contiguous to one another, except for those properties that were zoned for townhouses prior to the adoption of the 2024 zoning ordinance shall be permitted to have a maximum of 12 attached units.
Council, does anyone have questions? Okay, let me repeat back to you what I just heard.
Yes, ma'am.
Those finding the document and making changes to it. So we're changing from 4 max attached units to 8, except for those that were zoned prior to the adoption.
Which will have a maximum of 12.
Okay. Councilwoman Burst, can you talk us through the rationale behind this change?
Yeah, originally when this was laid out, it probably should have been more than 4 because the max was already 12. I think it was a consideration of reducing some of the density, but also allowing enough density for the development to be worthwhile, since development is such an issue right now, housing is such an issue. So 4 seemed a little drastic once we looked at it.
Okay.
So the compromise was to go to 8. Again, reducing the intensity, but not so much that we can't make a good use of the development.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's very helpful.
Okay.
Council, do we have any other questions or conversation about the alternate version amendment? Okay, let's go ahead and vote on it then. Council, we have a motion on the floor to amend by submitting an alternate version as read by the city attorney. All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment passes. Can I get a motion to approve as amended, please?
Second.
Okay, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve as amended with a proper second. Any questions or comments? Let me just triple check that we've got our pet cemetery or crematory square. Wouldn't want to screw that up, would we? All right, companion animal remains, y'all. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Moving into resolutions. I'd like to take items A and B as a package, Madam Clerk.
Item A resolution reappointing Lindia Mathis to the Community Advisory Committee, Region 9, Standard for Gafford, District 6, with the term beginning on November 17, 2024, and ending on November 16, 2027. Item B, a resolution reappointing Nancy Mata to the Community Advisory Committee, Region 9, Standard for Gafford, District 6, with the term beginning on November 17, 2024, and ending on November 16, 2027.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Burrs.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Are either of our appointees here?
I know that Nan is out of town. If she's watching, congratulations, Nan, and I don't think Miss Mathis is here.
Well, thank you all for your service. Item C.
A resolution in support of workers at Volkswagen and the bargaining committee of United Auto Workers, Local 42, Chattanooga.
Oh, hit your light again, Councilman. Councilman Elliott.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to defer this item 3 weeks to September 30th.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to defer this item 3 weeks until September 30th with a proper second. Hit your light if you've got any questions or comments. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item D, please.
A resolution waiving residential modification permit fees and/or giving preference to green grant funding for P attenuation control, TSS, and stormwater infiltration requirements for those properties which were directly damaged and are being significantly redeveloped or rebuilt in the city of Chattanooga due to the Tuesday, August 12, 2025 flood damage within the city of Chattanooga, which will begin on the adoption of this resolution and expire within the next 9 months on or before May 12, 2026.
Councilwoman Burrs.
First of all, Madam Chair, thank you so much for getting this on the agenda for this week. I think we wanted to review the wording just a little bit more and have tweaked it, but I'd like to defer the decision just 1 week, and happy to address any further questions that may have come up in the earlier meeting as to the purpose of this, if there is any.
Well, Councilwoman Burrs, since this was something that you brought to the council, would you like to take a moment and explain your intent with it?
Yeah, so I had several people in the Belvoir area that were having to do some repairs to their homes, and you have to get a building permit for a lot of the repairs. And I think as a courtesy, similar to what we did when we had the tornadoes in April of 2020, we had a similar resolution that allowed folks to have that permit fee waived. And this just seemed like an appropriate time to do that as well. So as much as I'd love to take credit for the original resolution, I'll thank former Councilman Darren Ledford for starting that. And I think it's a good idea to do what we can within our power, especially while FEMA is trying to decide what to do, that we extend anything we can to help folks that are rebuilding. So thank you, council, for supporting this. We're going to tweak it just a little bit to make sure we have the language correctly. And please, you all out in the audience, if you know anybody that's having to do repairs, let them know so they can take advantage of this. And please share the information, because hopefully it will help some folks.
So we have a motion on the floor to defer this 1 week until the 16th of September. Can I get a second? All right, we have a proper second. Council, hit your light if you've got any questions or comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to defer passes. We will look at that again next week. Item E, please.
A resolution to provide early Head Start services to 16 early Head Start children at Purpose Point Learning Academy for services to be rendered to children at the establishment to utilize federal funds from the FY26 grant award for a contract beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026 for a total of 232 days for a service amount not to exceed $184,486.40.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item F.
A resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Jared Brock as city treasurer.
Second.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, Jared. Look forward to working with you. Item G, please.
A resolution amending resolution number 32544 to read as follows. A resolution authorizing the office of the city attorney to engage the following firms for legal and lobbying services: 1 Baker Donaldson, 2 Bashberry and Sims PLC, 3 Butler Snow LLP, 4 Chambers Bonner and Stoffel PC, 5 Gearheiser Peters Elliott and Cannon PLLC, 6 Adams Sawatska with McGuire Woods, 7 Miller and Martin PLLC, 8 T-Well and Associates PC, 9 Evans, Harrison and Hackett PLLC, 10 Brian Culpet of the Title Guarantee and Trust Company of Chattanooga, 11 Logan Davis of Davis and Haas, 12 Toon and Trenkin and White PC, 13 Jones Title Insurance Agency Inc., 14 Robinson Smith and Wells, 15 Bridge Public Affairs, 16 Philip M. Myers II, and 17 Trevor Ashley for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Let's take items H and I as a package, please.
Item H, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to approve change order number 1 with Skilled Services of Knoxville, Tennessee, relative to contract number P23001-201, Police Service Center Fitness Area for HVAC and electrical changes, additional concrete and free weight area, emergency lighting upgrades, and changes to the floor matting for an increase of $72,042.93 for a revised contract amount of $399,327.93. Item I, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to extend and increase the Orange Grove contract by 90 additional days through December 31, 2025, to provide staffing by Orange Grove employees at the city's 3 refuse centers and 5 recycle centers for an increased amount of $200,000 for a total FY26 amount of $400,000.
Second.
Thank you. Councilman Clark?
Thank you, Chairwoman Hill. I've got a question I must have missed. The contract is for $400,000 for 3 months? And if so, what happens after 3 months? Does it go out? Is there a current bid out for this?
Councilman,
I can't read lips.
currently there is no bid that's out. We're building the RFP right now. We wanted to extend that contract so that we could get all the wording appropriate and analyze exactly where we're trying to go with it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the increased amount is $200,000.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Does anyone else have questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item J, please.
A resolution approving a new special exceptions permit for an existing liquor store located at 6804 Charlotte Road.
All right, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have 1 no. Thank you.
What was that bill for?
He always votes no.
I'm sorry, what item are we on?
Oh, that is for item J, a liquor store. Our colleague does not vote in favor of liquor stores. Item K.
A resolution authorizing the chief of police and the director of the Chattanooga Hamilton County Family Justice Center to apply for and, if awarded, accept the Office for Victims of Crime, OVC, FY25 Services for Victims of Crimes grant from the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs to be used for a full-time position, therapy services for victims and victims emergency assistance for a 3-year award period beginning on October 1, 2025 through September 30, 2028 for an award amount up to $500,000.
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you, council. We have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do you have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Let's move on to purchases, please.
Good evening, council.
Hello.
I have 7 purchases recommended for approval this evening. The first one is for purchasing. We are requesting an increase of $15,000 to agreements PA 100608 and PA 100609 liners through November 2025. The new estimated annual spend will be $64,900. The second one is for technology services. KCI Technologies is requesting a 3.5 increase due to the increase in labor rates. Additionally, Technology Services requested an agreement increase of $200,000 for future projects. The new estimated annual spend will be $280,100. Technology Services has approved the increase. Number 3 is for fleet. This is a one-time purchase of 2 Meridian Archer trailers for Public Works. This sole source purchase from Meridian Rapid Defense Group is in the amount of $242,580.54. Number 4 is for community health. This is a new 4-year blanket agreement with Brewer Media Group for community outreach radio advertising. This will be a sole source agreement with an annual estimated amount of spend not to exceed $50,000. Number 5 is for technology services. This They have requested an increase of $125,000 for existing and additional structured cabling projects. The new estimated annual spend will be $625,000. Number 6 is for technology services. They have requested an increase of $4,140 for additional risk management user license. The new estimated annual spend will be $71,190. Number 7 is for fleet. This is a one-time purchase of 2 international knuckle boom trucks in the amount of $521,558.66 used by Public Works. This purchase is utilizing the Sourcewell contract.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Do you have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, I have 2 sole source purchases to report. The first one is for wastewater. This purchase is for 4 hydromatic grinder pumps for $24,260 from Water and Waste Equipment as an executive authorized distributor in Tennessee for the hydromatic grinder pumps. Number 2 is for technology services, renewal services with Leads On as a sole source authorized source of integrated ballistic identification system, brass tracks, at a cost of $25,545.
Thank you very much. Okay. Excuse me, this cough continues forever. Okay. Committee reports, Councilman Elliott. Councilwoman Dotley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of things. First, thank you so much, Council. Got the second vote done with the budget. So we're officially done with that. So thank you all for that. And I do want to thank the finance team. You all have done an amazing job, and I appreciate your service and getting us all the information we needed. There will be next week 2 things. We'll have our public hearing regarding the unfortunate DEI decision that's come up to discuss that budget amendment, which is it's a neutral budget amendment. We just have to discuss it per our law. Is that right, Phil? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have to discuss it, so it'll be a public hearing regarding that. Also have an Affordable Housing Committee to discuss a new housing pilot, utilizing our new pilot policy. So we are excited about that and looking forward to hearing that. So those are my reports.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Burrs.
No report.
But you did sit through, I believe, a 3-hour planning and zoning committee meeting, did you not? Planning
yeah.
commission?
Yeah.
Thank you for your service to our council. We appreciate you. It was 5 hours. It was 3 hours of
Yes.
one case. 5 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your time is valuable. We appreciate it. Councilman Henderson.
No report.
Councilman Davis.
No report.
Councilman Harvey. Had a baby.
Yeah.
Councilman Clark.
Yes, Madam Chair, today the Community Development Committee met. We looked at a presentation from our interim administrator regarding deferred maintenance and ongoing projects. I think it was pleasing to the council. Again, thank you to Cedric Henson for your work in leading the department in the interim capacity.
Thank you. Vice Chairwoman Knoll.
No report, madam.
Okay. We do have some announcements from our city attorney.
Yes, ma'am. There are 2 certificates of compliance this evening, which have been reviewed. The city has reviewed these applications for KVAT Food Stores, Inc., DBA Food City at number 706 at 4510 Highway 58, Chattanooga. And that particular applicant complies with all of the location requirements for a wine and grocery store location for the food stores. And it has been submitted for approval today. Likewise, the certificate of compliance that you saw for a wine and spirits liquor store location at 6804 Shallowford Road, Zia Inc. in District 6 complies with all the requirements of the city code here, and there are no applicants that are in violation, and the location is proper for those 2 locations.
Thank you very much, Councilman Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to comment on the opening of Food City to let the council know that they are on track of opening early. That is a major development project in our District 5 that I'm really excited about, that I think will be an anchor project for more development to come on the Highway 58 area. So thank you to the administration who was able to work with the Food City real estate management team in fast tracking permits to keep that project on schedule. So just want to say I support that in full and look forward to seeing you all at the grand opening soon.
Super.
Thank you.
And Mr. Attorney?
And I have one other announcement that we have settled a case involving, in the United States District Court, involving Tiana Perry et al. Versus Officer Batterson in the city. It's civil action number 124 CV 00269, and that case has been resolved following mediation for $180,000.
Thank you very much. We have now reached the point in our meeting where we are happy to recognize persons who are here that would like to address the council. If you are here and would like to speak, please go ahead and line up behind the podium and listen while our attorney reads the rules.
Yes. So at the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council, and here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone provided up front for that purpose. Can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not on matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. Don't engage in any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address your comments to the council as a whole and not towards individual council members. Lastly, do not engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting which is prohibited by Tennessee law. And someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, sir.
My name is Michael Whitfield. I live in District 4. I'm here today to talk about, and I want to first thank the city for increasing the tax freeze. It's now increased to $60,000, of which I do qualify for that. The forms are being mailed. On 10/1, I talked with, I believe it was Justin. And of course, the city sets the amount on this, how much it is. But my request today from council is to support the tax freeze, to be retro my taxes, all the taxes, everybody that qualifies to 2020, what I paid for taxes in 2024. Otherwise, our taxes are going to go up for fixed income people by at least probably 32%. And I'm asking the council that they support this tax freeze, and also the people out there that qualify for this tax freeze, that they contact their councilman every day if necessary to ask them to support this amount for retro to 2024. Make your voices known to council, and also the also for the media. I know the media monitors this, and I would ask that they broadcast in their news reports daily until this passes. And here again, make your voices known, and that until each council person says that they approve of this, then it's no longer necessary for the majority of them do that. But I would certainly appreciate those, and again, echo that all this, the tax freeze be based on 2024 taxes paid. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Elliott.
Sir, if you would. Thank you so much for coming to speak. I know we have media here, so I want to make this very clear. When we brought up this increase, to increase it to $60,000, part of the conversation was to try to make it retroactive.
Okay.
The state preempts us from doing that. I wish we could have done more to fix it, but I don't want there to be any misunderstandings that we have not tried to go down that path to protect people, or that there was any other loopholes that we can travel, okay? I wish we could have done more, but the state preempts us from allowing us to do that, okay?
Can I respond to that state?
Let's talk afterward, okay?
Okay.
If you can wait afterward, I'll be happy to speak with you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Great. My name is Patrick Cate. I live in District 7. I'm here on behalf of the Chattanooga Area Labor Council. I have 2 points I wanted to make while I'm up here. One is it came to our attention that during the budget negotiation several weeks ago in the discussions that an individual may have come up and given commentary against the budget that was somehow construed or maybe perceived as being a representative of the Labor Council. Just want to make it clear, we did not and do not have a position on the budget, and so we did not endorse anybody coming up either expressly or unexpressly giving any kind of comment about the public discussion of the budget. Second is, I don't think it's a secret why I'm up here. We were hoping to discuss the resolution that was at one point going to be discussed today regarding the resolution in support of the auto workers. And I understand why we've postponed that. And I think what we're going to do in the next couple of weeks, which is we're going to start tonight, is hearing more directly from the auto workers themselves. So here behind me, we're going to make some commentary about their working conditions and the contract negotiation process. And I think it's really important we listen to them. And so thank you so much for listening to me. I also have just a brief written statement that the Labor Council wanted to share regarding the resolution. And we will be back in a few weeks. Yeah, the Chattanooga Area Labor Council represents more than 10,000 union members across our community, and we want to share these 3 simple truths. For more than a decade, Chattanooga workers have helped build one of the most successful enterprises in the world. They have given their skill, dedication, and pride. It is only right that they now receive their fair share, fair wages, fair benefits, and the respect they deserve. Second, the UAW Bargaining Committee's proposals are not radical. They are reasonable, industry standard, and in line with what union auto workers already have in Spring Hill, Tennessee, a community that has thrived under such agreements. And third, when auto workers win, all of Chattanooga wins. Higher wages and stronger benefits ripple outward, supporting families, boosting local businesses, and raising the bar for what we all should expect from jobs in our city. A rising tide truly lifts all boats. The resolution is a chance for the city of Chattanooga to stand on the side of fairness, dignity, and a stronger future for all of us, and I urge you to support it. So thank you. Again, I know we're not discussing it tonight. We're just wanted to start the deeper process of listening directly to Volkswagen workers. So thank you for letting me have the opportunity to come and share.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Michalski, and I'm an elected representative of the workers of Volkswagen for UAW Local 42. It has come to my attention that many of you are unaware that we workers of Volkswagen have a high risk of injury. I have too many stories to share during this time, but I will share a few. Team member of mine, Matt, has been here for 4.5 years. Ever since he started, his experience has been described as, quote, going through hell. When he first started on as Aerotech, he tore his rotator cuff. He filed a case and was going through physical therapy, and soon received his conversion papers to hire on as a Volkswagen employee doing the exact same work. Aerotech wouldn't pay for his surgery since he was about to be converted, and Volkswagen should be the one to cover the procedure. But once he got converted over, Volkswagen told him that his injury was pre-existing and that they would not cover the surgery. Because of our insurance program, he cannot afford the deductible for surgery or the time off to get his shoulder fixed. He has been living and working every day on the line with a torn rotator cuff for 4 years now. I have another worker from Assembly Logistics named Nate who sliced his leg open while delivering parts to the assembly line. The floor was covered in blood, which stopped logistics traffic and eventually stopped the assembly line. When this happened, the line-side supervisor approached him, not with concern or to see if medical was on the way, but instead yelled at him, asking him why the F he stopped his line. I have been hurt from the job multiple times. I am an entry-level technician, or known as an equipment operator for automated guided vehicles, the robots that transport parts from the loading docks to the assembly line. All of us on the AGV team have gotten hurt. Most of us have gotten back injuries from torn muscles to bulging discs. 2 of my guys tore their rotator cuffs in the very first year. All of these injuries were completely preventable. According to Volkswagen's own policy, anything above 40 pounds requires a manipulator. We sling 200-pound batteries all day, every day. As well as moving machines that weigh anywhere from 600 to 1,200 pounds by hand. We went through the process the company told us to use. We filed the discomfort. We started a medical case. We talked to our supervisors, our assistant managers, our manager, our director, HR, literally everyone, even the plant manager. Our final answer, after months and months of fighting, we were told that it wasn't in budget and that we just had to deal with it. Some supervisors told us that we could quit if we didn't like it. These are not uncommon. These stories are a dime a dozen. It's common knowledge on the floor that in general, workers at Volkswagen will require at least one major surgery every 5 years. However, Volkswagen is great at checking the box. I personally have been part of an OSHA investigation there. The company knows how to answer the questions with flying colors, and I have more to say.
Good evening, council members. My name is Michael Bromley. I'm a bargaining committee representative at Volkswagen Chattanooga. I lead the miscellaneous subcommittee and also serve on the skilled trades subcommittee. Like thousands of others at the plant, I'm proud to call Chattanooga home. We are proud to build world-class vehicles here, but no job should ever come at the cost of our health and safety. That's why I'm here tonight, to ask for your support for a safe and fair unionized workplace. This year alone, we've seen too many of our brothers and sisters injured on the job. Earlier this year, a skilled tradesman lost 3 fingers while performing preventative maintenance. Instead of real care, the company pushed him to return before he was ready. When he did come back, he wasn't there 3 hours on the job before he was suspended. The so-called investigation that followed felt more like an interrogation designed to shift liability. In the end, he was put back to work, but on a final written warning, as losing his fingers was his fault. On June 10th, one of our members was struck by a tuggard and suffered a concussion and other injuries. She now walks with a cane. When she requested ADA accommodations for closer parking on August 12th, she finally got it September 4th, and her space is 0.22 miles away from her break area, slightly better than the 0.29 miles she had been walking. But meanwhile, the closest parking remains reserved for directors and executives, where she's not allowed to park. It's hard not to conclude they just don't want to see her struggle. And just recently in the body shop, a worker was pressured by a supervisor to speed things up. He rushed to keep pace with the line, tripped and gashed his leg wide open. That was the cost of production being put ahead of safety. And beyond these incidents, these are injuries that don't make headlines, repetitive motion injuries that are consistent throughout the plant. Instead of rotating workers out of red zones, jobs to reduce strain, people are left in the same positions because of so-called business needs. At the end of the day, it's the workers who are left holding the bag, with aching backs, damaged shoulders, and hurt hands. These are not isolated cases. They show a pattern when workers are hurt. Tennessee law is designed not to protect us, but to protect companies from liability. Tennessee ranks 47th in worker protections, according to Oxfam. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are 164 fatal work injuries in Tennessee in 2023. Nationwide, the fatal injury rate is 3.5 per 100,000 full-time equivalent workers. And just 1 year prior, Tennessee's fatality rate was 5.7 per 100,000, compared to 3.7 nationally. All told, Tennessee workers face a far greater risk of death on the job than the average across America. That's the reality we face every day when we go to work, and that's why we're asking for your solidarity, because safety should never be optional, and dignity should never be negotiable. When one of us gets hurt, it's not just a worker, it's a Chattanooga family that suffers. On behalf of the workers at Volkswagen Chattanooga, I ask you to vote yes on this resolution. A yes is not just a gesture, it's Chattanooga standing with its people, not corporate priorities. Thank you.
Corey Evett, District 5. I don't have anything prepared. I came just to wear the red and sit in solidarity. But after hearing some of the stuff tonight, I just wanted to speak up and issue maybe 2 soft challenges to you all. I know how frustrating it is when the state intervenes and gets in the way. This dismantling of DEI is pathetic, in my opinion. And I'm thankful for the rebuke of that and the desire to continue to be inclusive and have a diverse input in what you all do. But I have to say, after having wrangled childcare and reorganizing my schedule to be here tonight, the start time and the uncertainty of the recess, this meeting is not accessible. You are missing out on a diversity of opinion due to the start time. and the recess and everything else, I would urge, it's 2025, I would urge you to consider not only potentially moving the start time, or at least making it set so that people can interact with this, reinstating some form of digital communication, whether it is remoting in, whether it is pre-recorded comment that folks can share and play here, because it's not only important that people be heard by you all, it's important too that people be heard by each other. So I would encourage you to open up that audience to people to share their concerns, not only with you all, but with their peers. The second soft challenge in terms of budgeting, I thank you all for the prolonged process of going through all that. I know it was very difficult. And a lot of the talk was about expenses, prioritizing, cutting back all those expenses. I would encourage you, though, to consider going forward additional revenue. I think it was only a few weeks back, you had somebody come up here and talk about how they were a property owner with vacant land, and their tax rate was so low, and they were asking you to increase their taxes. I would encourage this body to explore other avenues for revenue. It should not be profitable to squat on land in Chattanooga. It should not be profitable to sit with a vacant commercial or residential property. So I really appreciate if going forward we can consider ways to capture some of that revenue and invest it back in the community. Thank you.
Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, man with the $1 trillion voice. As you all witnessed last time, even after 43 years of being in broadcasting, I can't control the equipment, but I can control what the media says about me. I think many of you fail to understand, Monty Bell is Chattanooga media. I don't know if you all understand that at all, but Monty Bell is Chattanooga media. Monty Bell, before Usher, was Chattanooga music. You all seem to want to overlook things like that. But tonight I got a special request. I want to get to this bulk of attorneys in your, what is it, 32,544? You got a case in your circuit court, docket number 25C919, where Monty Bell has made history once again. No one in your American history has forced the recusal and disqualification of an entire court. I did that on July the 21st. All of your judges recused on the 22nd. Your mail department is trying to confuse things by saying that there's a bundle up problem there. You're gonna have to come to court. You got about 25 or 30 attorneys here. 97 of them I've defeated. I want my money. I got a request from your police chief. He wasn't here when Monty Bell did the song Ode to Tim Kelly, the Black Parish Stonebreaker. And I like taking requests. And so I put together a little jingle outside here. It's called Take Off That Black Dress and Put On Your White Robe and Hoodie. And it goes a little something like this, Chief. You ready? With the time remaining. Might be a little loud because I couldn't adjust the volumes. Let's see what we can do. JB, take off that black dress and put on your white robe and hoodie. I said, take off that black dress and put on your white robe and hoodie. Take off that black dress, Phil. Put on your white robe and hoodie. Take off that black dress, Chip, and put on your white robe
Mr.
and
Bell,
hoodie.
I'm going to hold you.
Take off that
I need you to
black
stop
dress.
if you're going to name people
This
in
is
the
my
song.
3 minutes,
No,
Madam Chair.
your time is
Okay,
up.
let's get
Thank
to
you
this.
very
You know-
much.
Okay,
Please
let's
cut the
get to
mic.
this. I got
Thank you.
27 seconds here.
No, you will not
have to
name
appear
names.
in
Sir, your
court
time is
because
finished.
you
If you'd like to
forever-
come back another time, I need you to stand down.
Interrupt me. As a request by the police chief. There's 3 levels of
Mr. Bell,
government
your
here.
time is up. Thank you.
Judiciary.
You will not
executive,
speak
and
of people
legislative.
and break our
You don't
rules.
seem to understand where you stand.
Chief Chambers, can you please help me?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
211 billion, 34 billion.
Council, would you like to adjourn? We are adjourned. We are adjourned. We're not doing that.
Evelina Cote, District 8 currently. Firstly, I'd like to encourage you strongly to vote for the resolution supporting the UAW workers. I would like to mention, as someone with a public policy degree specializing in labor policy, that they brought up a lot of the problems, but I think that it's very clear that having labor union representation has been shown categorically to solve these things. It has not only helped the workers at the Volkswagen to raise its wages, supporting the bargaining committee and getting a good union contract wages for all other workers in the community. It has been shown to increase worker safety. And I would also like to mention that this is not a neutral issue for the city. The city cannot stand neutrally. There are many, when the election was happening, our governor was openly opposing the right of the city council of the Volkswagen workers to unionize. So that I would be very concerned if the city council decides to stay neutral on this issue. I think Chattanooga should be a union town, and I think we need to have a city council that represents the workers at a thing, not the large company who is disregarding their rights. Secondly, I would like to quickly mention my concern about the plan by the Kelly administration to eliminate the Office of New Americans. I was very unsatisfied with the answer from the representative about whether this work would be replicated in other departments. He mentions that there would be Latino support things, for instance, for like language translation, but there is not. He has not said that there would be other pro-immigrant work. And I would say right now is the time to stand and fight for our immigrant community. In North Georgia right now, across the border, ICE is kidnapping people. Here in Chattanooga, our sheriff's department is cooperating with ICE, destroying families. To eliminate this department now will send a clear message to our immigrant community that they are persona non grata, and that the city is not willing to stand with them. I understand legal compliance is an issue, but there are values greater than that. Stand in solidarity now, or I think that it will be looked very badly on the future that you were complicit in this. So I ask you to vote no on any plan that would eliminate our immigrant solidarity programs. In particular, I would ask you to delay the vote on that because this was not widely known in the community, and you have not heard from any immigrants about this plan to eliminate the department working with them. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Council, what's your pleasure? Meeting adjourned.